Now we'll finish our create user logic. So in register, we are calling this create user, and if I go in this method, so right now we have just a console log. So what I'm going to do to create an entry in the database, we'll need Prisma service. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to inject Prisma service here, and if I go here in the Prisma in module, we are actually exporting Prisma service, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use this Prisma service and going to import it in constructor. So I will write private read only Prisma. I'll keep it Prisma only as a variable, and then I'm going to use Prisma service. I'll have to import this, and then I can try to write the logic of this create user. So I'm gonna remove this line and write instead of console log, I'm gonna write let's do hash password equal to await bcrypt. So we don't have bcrypt. Let me quickly import the bcrypt. So import star as bcrypt from bcrypt. Okay, now we are getting this three dots here. So this is kind of types warning. So it is saying couldn't find declaration file for the bcrypt. All right, so we installed bcrypt some time back initially during installation of the passport. We installed bcrypt as well. If I go back in package, I'll find bcrypt here somewhere. Yeah, but the problem is like just by installing the JavaScript library doesn't it doesn't comes with the types file as well. So what we can do here, if I go back in out.service, I'm gonna install types of bcrypt. So I'll install it as dev dependency. So for dev dependency we use -dx switch, and then we are gonna write types and then a bcrypt, and then now it will install types of bcrypt and dev dependencies. So what is dev dependencies? So these are in package.ation, you can find all the dev dependencies. So we generally we keep all those uh, I mean libraries in dev dependency which we don't need to bundle as part of our deliverable. So let's close this and let's finish our create user logic. So with the bcrypt, as now you can see the three dots warning has gone away, and now we can also access the methods. We can see what methods are on bcrypt. So I'm gonna use hash. So I want to hash the password which I'm trying to pass from body in request. So in request, user will have the username and password. So I can take the password from the user and will hash it. So second parameter is rounds. So it has some functionality like if we provide some salts or rounds, then based on that it will run the logic for this much of time and generate some unique password, unique hash. Okay, now what we're gonna do, we are gonna await, and then we're gonna create user prisma dot. Okay, so we are gonna write user dot create, and what we can do, we can pass data. So this goes in data, and in data what we can pass, we can pass one object. We'll try to extract the user, and then we'll create one property password, and this password will be hash password. Okay, all right, and that's fine for now, I believe. Do we need to return anything? We can return the same user if you want, but okay, let's do one thing. let's add it in try and catch, and I'm gonna put it inside try. If something goes wrong, I wanna throw I will catch error and throw new bad request error, and then I will write something here like fail to create user. Alright, now uh, by this time if it doesn't throw something, then probably this thing is finished. And you can it can be, I mean, or like if you wanna just pass something like message string. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna return something from here, message user created successfully. Alright, and if I go back in auth controller, I can also add one thing here, http code, and here what I can do, http status, I can just select created, and that's okay, I believe. Okay, let's try it out. So we are going to run our server and see if this works properly. Alright, so now the first thing I need to verify whether it is running correctly. Yes, we don't have any error, so I'm going to open Postman now. And now what I'm gonna do, okay, so I had this audit log, and let's create a new collection altogether, or should we use the same one? We can use the same one if you know how we can use it, like okay, I'll be using the same one since my focus is on like creating audit logs. So in this tutorial I'm not going to cover how to create collections, how to create environment variables and other stuff. So let's use the basic collection which I will already created some time back. So in authentication I have registered endpoint, which is right now not having anything. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use register. So this is my endpoint. If I go here, let me check. So it's on auth then register. So I'll have to fix this, auth then register, and it should be a post request. How did I know? So if it is written here post, then it will work for post. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just use raw as JSON body. I mean, for word in body we are going to pass a raw JSON, and then what data I will need. So if I go in register user request user, I need username and password. Now we are going to try few things. Before I run something, I'm going to show you we don't have anything in the user. If I even refresh this, we don't have anything in the user. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use username, let's say install skill 1, and password I will keep it simple so that we can use it for login later, and this would be 1 2 3 4. Hopefully I haven't added any validation for min length or max length. If I go back in the study2, I didn't have any validation, or even in schema as well, right? Let me check in a schema. I haven't added any validation, so it will not stop us from adding this entry in our database. Let's see if this works. Yeah, so yeah, so now we have got this message. Probably so we might be having this user in our database. So we haven't created a get user endpoint. So what we can do, so we can first verify this whether this entry is actually now available in database. So if I click on refresh, yes, I see, I mean, I have the user here. So that means it's working. I mean the connection is working as expected. Now let's try to finish up the login part first, and since seeing a list of users is not that much mandatory right now, so we are going to finish up the login. So to log in, if I just mention one more thing here, so right now what we are doing, we are passing this details in body in register, right? But what we can do, uh, okay, so this is fine. Since we needed to create new user, we are passing this is as a body. But in login we can do like as we discussed earlier, we can pass here in body and then we can validate username and password. That's a one way. Another way is like we can create one middleware which will be responsible for validating things and attach the user on request, and by the time it reaches this line we are 100% sure the user is validated. We just need to generate access token. So we'll follow the second approach and we'll create one guard for local strategy. So when we apply the local strategy guard, so what will happen, it will extract the username and password and it will validate, and if something is wrong then it will throw unauthorized exception. It will not reach to this method, or if it doesn't I mean if it works, I mean the user it finds the user, then it will attach the user on request and we can use that user to generate access token. So before we finish up this generate access token, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create one guard. Let me create one file here. Okay, just give me 1 second. Let me just create again, not sure what happened. Yeah, now we can create local auth guard.ts. all right, I'm gonna quickly type export class local auth guard. Okay, and it should extends, I guess, auth guard from passport, and here we need to put the strategy name. So for local we pass local, for JWT we pass JWT. Okay, so it has some methods as well. If you want to override those methods you can definitely do it. I will just quickly show you what are these methods. So if you see the return type here in iauth guard, so these are the methods and this is the iauth guard, and definitely it implements from the connectivity as well, and you can just use these methods to debug in case something fails. Like these methods, you can add debugger and see like when they executes, I mean when they get executed. All right, so that is out of scope for this tutorial. We can go in details in separate video. All right, so since we have this guard ready, and I'm gonna mark it as injectable. Okay, okay, now we have this local auth guard, and what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put this in auth module as well. So it will come in. So even this one should be injectable so that it will have an instance, and once we write this file and create an instance, it will automatically be registered with the passport. So probably you won't have to export this to use it in any other file, although we're not going to use local strategy local auth guard in any other module. The reason behind that, it is just for the login. It just extracts username and password, and for the rest of the time we need to authenticate, we need to verify the token. So for that we'll create JWT strategy. So without wasting much time here, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put local strategy here and local auth guard here, and I'm going to add one more property, exports, and this would be local auth guard, again when we call this, it will automatically detect local strategy. That's why I'm not exporting it, since internally passport with passport it gets registered. Now that we have done all the configuration, I'll go back in auth controller, and here down. Okay, so now that we have created local auth guard and configured and added here as a guard, so so when this line, when we try to execute, I mean when we have a request for login, when we will try to trigger this login endpoint, what will happen? It will first run this guard, and when it will run the guard, local auth guard, it will actually execute this local strategy first. It will come in validate user, and then in validate user, what's going to happen is like we are going to validate the user to verify whether this is being executed. I mean this is actually running. So what I'm gonna do, user credential, and pass here username and password, and see if this is working. So that's fine if we are passing any thing from here in Postman. So right now this user and password are not in our database, but that's okay. Okay, we didn't get anything here. That's fine. This is expected since we are not returning anything from the response. But we are actually getting username and password here. So till here it is correct. And what we are going to do next, we are going to validate this user from the database. So now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna finish up this validate user. So let's do it. I'm gonna try, and then I catch error, and we'll finish this up later. Before that, const user await, and this dot prisma dot connect. I don't know. Sorry, connect. Why we will do connect? Okay, so here as we are doing query on user, so we'll be using user find first. Okay, find first, or what? All right, so this is the method I found from the suggestion. So what I can do, so it has where property, and inside where what I can pass username. Let's say if not user, so what will happen? Let's remove try catch for now. We can later manage it from exception filter if you want, but I just don't want to confuse you. So I'm gonna do one thing. I'll format this code, and here in not user, what we can do, let's say if there isn't any user for the given username, so we need to throw unauthorized exception. So there's a high chance like that what we are passing is not an user. Otherwise, what we are going to do, we are going to validate the password, right? So without password verification, it's not, we cannot say like the user has passed the correct credential. So if user end wait, okay, since we have already verified whether the user is there or not, so we can directly go for the password. So password, what we can do, we can write bcrypt dot compare, and the first thing, if you see like this is data actually in string, a second is encrypted string. The data which we are we are getting it from the body is this password, and the one in the encrypted which is in database will come from the user. Now if this is true, then our password is correct. So in that case, we are going to extract password separately and rest of the thing in result from the user, and then we can return result. Okay, otherwise let's return null. Now, so what we need in local strategy is the user, and whatever the user we are getting here will we added to request. So how to verify whether this is being added to request? So what I'm gonna do in generate access token, I can add a console log user, and this will be user. Let's try this. So first we will try it with incorrect username and password. So we are getting unauthorized. Now this time what I can do, I can put actual user. So this was our actual user, and the password what I think it was 1234. Let's try it out. So we didn't get any unauthorized exception here, that's fine. And now we are going to check whether we are getting log. Yes, we are getting log. So we are getting these two details since we have removed password from the response, so it looks correct as of now. Now we are going to what we can say, generate access token. To generate access token, first we'll have to import JWT module, which we have already done, and then we can generate access token. So first thing is done. The second thing which I need to do here is I need to add JWT. I will inject JWT service, and we'll keep it in variable JWT. And quickly what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna return let's create a variable sign, and I need to pass a payload here. So generally we follow this pattern. Subject, in subject what you can do, we can pass ID, and rest we can add any other properties. So here I will be adding username, and then we can return it as access token. Now we can try it again and see if this works. Yeah, now we are getting access token. Okay, it looks good. So now we have this access token, what we generally do is we, in other endpoints, let's say in products, when what we are going to create, and when we'll create this endpoint, we'll add it in the wearer token and we'll put it here, right? And then with the request, this will go to the server, and on server we are going to extract the wearer token, and we can verify, we are going to verify the JWT and find out like what is the payload set in this JWT token, and based on that, we if that is if we are able to verify that user, then what we can do, we can attach it with the user. So let's do the next step accordingly. So now imagine the user has attached it in authentication token. So what we will have to do next is we'll have to write JWT strategy. So I'm going to create export class JWT strategy. This should extend, I guess, from passport strategy, and we are going to pass the strategy. This time we will be using passport JWT, and again we have a constructor. We'll have to call super, and level 1 validate method. In validate we'll get payload, and I'll keep it any as of now. We can create type if you are aware like what are the payload we defined here in service. If you see, we have subject and username, so we can create type for it, subject and username, but let's keep it any. In super, so in GWT strategy we define some properties here. What are these properties? So what we can do, okay, so here what we can do, okay, so it will not give you suggestion. If you want to know more about the options we pass here, what we can do, you can go in official website of Passport and find JWT strategy, and there you will find all the options. Probably will not be able to find it here as well in the its types files. Let me tell you what is the actual properties we are going to set here. So the first one is JWT from request. It's a straightforward. So how we are going to get the token from the request? So normal way most people follow is that we get it from the bearer as a bearer token from header. So, and just make sure we are putting the parenthesis, and since it is a method it is important, otherwise it will not work and you will not be able to debug it easily. So ignore expiration, we don't want to ignore expiration, we want to keep it. And the last one is secret or key. So in auth module we did it from config service, whatever we define in the environment variable. So we want everything to be same even if we are defining it multiple places at multiple places. So what we can do, we can inject config service here, private read only configs, and this would be config service. In order to access the config service here, we'll have to make sure we have the import here. So let's make an entry of import here for the config module. Now we can access the config service instance, and for the secret what I can write, config.get or throw, it will be a string, and then here JWT secret, that we have written it in environment variable. Alright, now in the validate method what we can do, we can just return ID, let's say user ID, username, payload dot username. Okay, now we are going to create one guard for JWT strategy as well. So I'll quickly add one more file here, and the file name I can keep it as jwt auth.guard.ts. Okay, I'll create one class jwt auth guard, and it will inherit from auth guard, and that we are going to get from passport, and we need to pass one string value for the strategy. So here if you are using wanna create JWT auth guard, then we're using JWT as keyword. Okay, that's all. What we are going to do here is we are going to make it injectable, and also I need to make a strategy, JWT strategy, as well as injectable. All right. Okay, let's import these two things in module as well. So here JWT strategy, JWT auth guard, and I'm gonna export JWT auth guard from here. Okay, so now we have the JWT auth guard, but we'll not be able to verify it since right now we don't have any such endpoint to test. The register is public endpoint, and for login we are using local auth guard to extract the username and password. So now we will be when we'll create some protected routes, then we'll try it out. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add some endpoints in products, and we'll write some service for it. So let's do it quickly. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create NestG co product no spec, and then I'm going to write one service as well, NestJS and product no spec. In controller we'll have one constructor where I can inject private read only. We'll inject our product service, so we'll write product service, and then what we can do, we can have couple of endpoints here. So what will be the endpoints? So what I'm gonna do, let's get 4 endpoints for all the CRUD operations so that I can show you how we can configure it. Okay, so let's say async get products, and then async create products, then async update products, and then async delete products. So it should be update product. Now this will be get request, this will be post request, and this will be patch request. You can use put as well if you want, and this will be delete request. Okay, and let's do one thing. We are going to create quickly one DTO for the products. So I'll write DTO, I'll create one file here, product dto.ts. You can have multiple files like create DTO and update and response, those things. I'm going to copy and paste a class here. So in this like I have created 2 class, one for like not 2, 3 class actually: create product DTO, update product DTO, and product response DTO. You can make this as a partial type of create product DTO, that's up to you, like these are the TypeScript thing. Okay, so now that we have 3 DTOs available, what we can do generally, like in get products, we get all the products, so return this dot product service get all, or just get products. We can have the same thing. If we want, like we can create one more method, get product, and this will have a get product by ID here, and also we need here ID as a parameter. I'll keep it more specific, product ID, and I can use params. I can extract it from params. What happened? Param, this will be product ID. I'll have to create one variable, product ID. This will be number, I guess. Okay, and then we are going to pass ID here, and when we are passing it from the URL, it will be string. So what we can do, either we can parse in, we can use pipe here, or we can just parse here by using just plus sign. Next, in create product, we'll have to use body, and in body from body I will take create user DTO. So we have a type as well, create user, or was it user create DTO? Let me check it again. Sorry, why I'm typing user, I need to map it with the product, so let me just delete it. Create product DTO, and this will be create product. Now this is fine, and what we are going to create in product service is, let's say, create product, and here we can pass create product DTO. In update, we'll need one ID, product ID, let's say product ID, and I'm going to copy and paste this parameter, and I will call one method, return this dot product service, and then update a product, and so what else, this product ID, that's fine, I guess. And for the last delete, I will also need one parameter, and we are going to copy this again and paste it in delete product parameter, and now we can return this dot product service delete product ID. Okay, once we complete this, we are going to add auth guard here, I mean the JWT auth guard. So before we use auth guard, we need to finish the basic functionality of these things. Let's say this create product, we don't have this create product, so I'm going to actually do things little bit quicker, since you already know how we have configured Prisma service and created things. So I'm going to do it in fast forward way. So if you want to understand like how we write products, I mean how we create products, not products, I mean how we write CRUD operations in Prisma, so that we can have it in different tutorials. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use private read only Prisma service, I've just copied some code here and imported Prisma service. This is nothing, just as a very straightforward code. So just to save some time, in case if you have any doubt, you can definitely put it out in comment. I will clear it, and then Okay, now we are going to create product service. So here in the product service, what I can do, I can add constructor here, private read only. As we did it in auth service, I'm going to again import Prisma service. So since Prisma service is connected with the database, so I can use it to insert anything in the database, and I'm gonna quickly create methods with this name. So let me write async create product, then async update product, and then async delete product, and then async get product by ID, and then async get products. I think these are the names which I have used in controller: get product by ID and get products. Looks good. Okay, fine. So in create product, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use create product DTO, and this will be of type create product DTO. Here in update product, I'm going to have update product DTO, and I'll be using update product DTO. Let me check what I used here in update. Okay, in update I also need updated data as well, right? So I'll be writing update product DTO, and I'll have to pass it as second parameter in this. So update product DTO. Fine. So if I go back in product service, let's use the first parameter as product ID. It would be a number. Similarly, for delete, I will need this thing only, and for get product by ID, I will need this thing, and for get products, I don't need any parameters. Okay, looks fine. Okay, now let's finish the logic first. Okay, so what we are going to do here in the create is we are going to write return. Okay, so this dot prisma dot create, no, we'll have to use the model name product and then create, and since we are creating a one product, so we can pass data, and in data, or we can just take it as data. As of now, we can definitely do validation. If you want, you can just try out some validation, like this thing should be there, this thing should. Right now we don't need it, so after this, if something happens, then it will throw some error, otherwise it will return the product which we have created. Now here in this, again, let's do it data, and next we are going to return this dot prisma dot product, and we can use update, and here in this data, we can pass data. We'll also need one more parameter, I think, where clause, and in this, what I can do, I can use ID product ID. So instead of writing ID product ID, let's make it ID only. And here again in delete, what I can do, return this dot prisma dot product dot delete, and here to delete I need to put where, and in where I can pass ID, and I'll change this to ID. Next, for get product by ID, what I'm gonna do, return this dot prisma dot find okay product, then find first, and here what I can do, I can put where and then ID, and I'll make it ID. Next, in products, I can just return this dot prisma dot product and dot find many. Okay, that's all what we need to do as of now, and we are getting some error. So let me check why we are getting error. So here in this, let me just parse this on ID to from number to string, I mean string to number, and here as well I'll parse it to number. Now it should work. I'm gonna run my server pnpm start dev and verify all this functionality first before I proceed for uh, implementing authguard here. Okay, so I have this 4 endpoints, and I'm going to add one more endpoint for uh, get product by ID, and this will be product slash, let's say ID1. For now I'm just keeping it ID1 and saving it. Okay, I'm going to close all the tabs for now. Okay, let's try it out, get products, and see if this is working. Okay, we have some error. Update product DTO. I think we forgot to save it. Let me save it again, and let me try it again. So right now we don't have any products. It is giving empty array. Let's add one product. So I probably would be having name, description, price, quantity. So what I want to do is I want to add like something here, random details, and then I can add product, and you can see the product is added. If I go back and get products and try this again, forget about this one right now, we don't need it. If I try it again and see, we are getting the product list. Okay, let's create one more product quickly. Let's say winter t-shirt, and then we will create one product here. I'm going to save it for now. Okay, and now if I get products, we'll get 2 items here. So our get and add are working fine. Let's try with the update product. So in update product, instead of this, what I can do, I can pass the product ID. So let's say from here, if I see product ID, we have one as product ID. So I want to update the one, and yeah, we can change its name to newly updated t-shirt. So if I go back and get product, so this I'm expecting to be updated from this text to this text, newly updated t-shirt. Let's try it out and see if this is working. Let me remove this from here so that you won't get confused. Alright, so we are getting internal server error, means we have done something wrong here. So let's try it out and see. Let's find it out. Sorry, let's find it out and see what is the issue. We are passing the data, right? And also in controller, we are passing the data. Okay, so the problem was with this variable, so we are not mapped it with the body, so that's why this might be undefined. Okay, it should work now. Let's try it again and see if this is working. Yeah, Now this is updated. If I go back in get product and try to fetch the all the list, I mean all the products, you will see summer t-shirt is now updated to newly updated t-shirts. So our update is working fine. I will try the get product by ID first before I go for delete. So I'll try to get the product first product and see if this is working. Yes, I'm able to fetch the first product. Now we are going to delete the first item, so and this item is deleted. So if I check again get products, I will see we'll have only one item. So our CRUD operation is working fine as expected. All the operations are working fine. Now it's time to implement auth guard. So we created this JWT auth guard. Also we have created JWT strategy, and we exported this JWT auth guard from here. To use this auth guard in our product, we'll first have to import auth module in product module. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna write imports, and then I'm going to import this module. And now what I can do, I can use JWT auth guard. So let's say I'm going to add use guard and say JWT auth guard, and if I copy and paste everywhere, or instead of doing this, what we can do, we can simply paste it at the top here. So all the all the endpoints will be protected. I will have to import use guards as well as JWT auth guard. Let's try this now, and we should get unauthorized for all the requests, for all the product requests. So first we'll have to log in with the correct credentials. So I think install skill1 was the user and password was 1234. So I'll save it. If I try to execute, I'm getting one access token. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna add this access token in the authorization for this. Okay, in body what we have is let's add one summer t-shirt. Now we are able to create the t-shirt. If you see the ID, we have this ID. If we will try to execute this, we will not be able to do it since it doesn't have correct access token. So what we are going to do, we'll go back in login, copy this token, and we'll add this token here. You can write a script as well, like that script will automatically use environment variable. The script will automatically populate the token in environment variable, and your token here we can pass the environment variable. So if we try to execute this, now we are getting these two items here since we deleted one, right? So we are just, that's why we are getting two items only. And let me go back here and put better token. And now if I try, there's no product for 1, so I will try it for 2. I'm getting it correctly, and I will add better token for delete product as well. And we don't have this, product, so we can handle these errors, right? So let's say if we are not able to find product, we can check before we delete, we check like whether the product exists or not. If the product doesn't exist, we can throw bad request error. So you can configure those things, right? And let's try to delete the second item and see if this is working. Yes, it is working. Now we should be having one item only. Okay, so our auth guard is JWT auth guard is working as expected. What next is we are going to see how we can configure audit log. So if I go back in Prisma, uh, in Prisma module, and here we created one service, Prisma extended service. So what we are going to do next is we are going to write some stuff here. Okay, so what we will do, so how we can do, so we are going to create one method, and not method but it's a property, but it's a getter and setter. So let's say we can create a getter and we can call it with just like its instance name. Let's say Prisma dot with audit, and yeah, we can name it as with audit, and so we will not need to call it as a method if we are using get here. And then what we can do, we can just write something like return this and Prisma. Let's use Prisma instead of Prisma service, Prisma, and then we can write extend. We are trying to extend the feature, so we will have to create one configuration for the queries. So whatever queries we want to extend, we'll have to define one configuration. So we can write it everything here, but what I believe we should create one separate file for that. So let's create one file, prisma dot extensions dot ts. Now what we can do, I will just create one general normal method here. Let's say export const. I'm not creating any class. Instead we can create one method just like a utility method. We'll have to pass all the, I mean all the things we are going to use as a parameter. So I need one property as the Prisma client, the service instance, I mean this service instance, the Prisma, since it is also extend inherit from the Prisma client, so we can define its type as a Prisma client. And I'll need audit log module name, and we have already defined this Prisma module option, so we can write it here. And the last is user. Now we are going to write this. So how we write, what we are going to do, we are going to call this method and it will return a configuration, an object that we can pass it in this extend. Okay, so how we can define the extension? So to do that, what we can do, let me just remove it, and we are going to write Prisma dot define extension, and here I'm going to write an object and I'm going to define query. So I'll write query and it will be for all models. So it doesn't matter like what models we are trying to execute, what models query we are executing, it will work for all. And then we will be overriding the create method, and let's say the parameters would be model operation, although I don't think all of them we are going to use, probably we'll be using model and args and this query itself. So this is a method which if we call it, we will actually execute the uh, the method which we are executing here. For example, this one, this is the query which we are trying to execute. So when we will execute, we can do things before this execution, and after this execution. So when we run query, this method query, we are actually trying to execute these type of queries which we are trying to call. I mean, like this. I don't know how much it is clear to you, but let me just write it and then probably it will be more clear. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna create one old data. In general, in create we will not have any data, old data. So for results, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna use await query, and this will be old args, and so when we execute this, we are actually trying to execute all the methods. So how this will work, let me explain you again. So let's say we are trying to create user, and when we run this query, so before it will execute, I mean this method, and it will not immediately run this query. Wait, before that we can do all the process like these things. This thing we can find out all data, and then we can manually execute the query which we are trying to run, and we can get the results. So here in changes, I'm going to create one method for deep diff, and we are going to pass all data and results, or you can say new data, both is fine. Now you might be wondering what we are going to write here. So you can use some library as well to find diff between two object, or you can create your own library for either for shallow comparison or for deep diff. You can do that as well. So I found some logic from somewhere, so I'm not going to write it from scratch. Instead, I'm going to copy paste this method definition and the details. So what I'm gonna do, I'm going to copy and paste it. If you want, you can. Okay, let me just scroll it, I mean move it a little bit down so that I can show you what is this method. So basically it is trying to do recursion and go in internal properties and find the difference, like whichever the property is different, it will create a new object for that. So either you can use any third-party library, or you can create something like this, or if you know, like you will always be needing just parent level comparison, so you can create some logic accordingly, or you can just copy and paste it. You can pause the video and copy and paste it, not copy and paste it, but you can pause the video and try to, what we can say, write. You can try to write. All right, now for the action, let's say we are trying to uh, create action, right? So in case we are creating some actions, so how will we get the action type? So here in model we will get things like let me type user or product or audit logs, these things. Okay, and we can name it something like this, and also I want to keep it in uppercase. Okay, now we have this action type. I can keep it as action, and then await Prisma dot. So this client I'm going to use to insert it in our database. Audit log model name. and then I'm going to write create, and in this create I can add data, action, user ID. Okay, so now you must be wondering how we are going to get user here. So I'll explain it in a bit. Let me just write it first. So how we are going to get user, I will explain you. And the rest of the things like changes, we can parse, we can convert it to a string so that we can save it easily in database. In object structure it will be difficult. All right, and finally once we have done all the process, we can just return the new data, and so that uh, whatever we are doing in any of the methods, let's say this product, let's say we are trying to let's say we are trying to update some product. So whatever we are expecting to get it from here, so we'll get it if we return this new data. And you must be wondering if this will also create audit log for the entry in audit log as well. Like for audit log itself, it can create an audit log. So what we can do, we can add a check if model is not equal to audit log model name, then uh, then what we can do, then otherwise else what we can do, we can just return query and args. Alright, so we are not doing anything for audit log. When model is audit log model, we are just going to do this. All right, so before I write it for other methods like update and delete, let me just explain you how we are going to get user here. So in Prisma extended service, okay, so we will define it in some time, this method. But before that, how we can get user. So I'm going to inject one thing here, that is request. So this is predefined token in our system in NestJS. So we can bind it with private read only request, and I'm just giving its type as any, although we can write request as well. But the reason why I'm marking it any as of now, since we need to extract request.user from here, I know like this will be there. As we define this method audit log extension, now what we can do is we can just go back here and import this method, and here what I can do, I can pass parameters like this dot prisma. What is the next parameter? So we'll also have to inject one more thing. If I go back in Prisma module, we created a custom provider for this option, so I'm going to inject this token as well, and then I will save it in private read only options, and this will be module Prisma module options Why this is giving error? Because I have written it, misspelled it. Now I can use this dot options, and the third parameter is user, which we can get it from the request, this dot request dot user. I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's it. Now let me check what I need to configure in Prisma module. So if I scroll it a little bit above, we are using for root as of now, but we'll have to fix both of these things for extension. So I'm just going to import Prisma extended service, and also I need to export it from here. And what else? We can import Prisma extended service here. I just noticed we didn't added it in Prisma service here, so also I can put Prisma extended service in exports. Alright, now that we have figured it out what will be our module configuration, and we are using right now for root. If I go back in app module, so here we are using for root and passing audit log. So what will happen now? So in, let's say, in product controller, what we can do, so we can import not here, not controller, in service. In service, what we can do, instead of injecting Prisma service, what we can do, we can inject Prisma service, extended service. Now let's say we want to create audit log for this. So I'm just going to add a word here with audit. Rest, like if you don't use it for rest of them, it will not create an audit log for it. And we can use it normally like we are using it here, so it won't create any issue. So even though like we have added a condition here, let me just go back for audit model here, so it is not required. Why? From now on, what we are trying to do is we will not be using Prisma service. Instead, we will be using Prisma extended service. And this Prisma extended service, if we are trying to use with audit, then it will create audit log entry. Otherwise, it will not create audit log entry. So that's why I have removed it from here. So let's say if you don't want to create audit log for some table, then we can just skip that word which we are trying to add, I mean with audit. So we can directly write prisma.product or prisma.audit log. Now before I test, what I want is I want to go back in product service, and what I can do, I can change all of this to with audit, and I will leave these to fetch thing as normal. And if I try to add one new product here, let's say win here, sorry, forget about the typo which I am doing, so it's just a random thing. So winter jacket, Okay, I can see an entry is created for product, and we can also see it is in coming in get all product list. So if I go back in Prisma database, in SQL database, if I refresh it, if I go back in audit log, I can see we have one entry. So this is the entry, and this is in string, right? So now what we can do, we can create a controller for audit log, and we can try to create an endpoint for audit log and see all the list. Okay, so now our audit log system is working, and the type we are getting and generating it from dynamically. And I'm just trying to see the user ID. Okay, so we also have the user ID, right? So before we finish this tutorial, what I can do, uh, I can just do all other process. Let's say this update one. Uh, right now, what are so these are two uh, products we have. So again, if I update it to newly updated t-shirt, then what will happen? Do we have product ID 1? No, we have 4 and 3. So what we can do, we can update the fourth product, and this is saying unauthorized. I think the token is expired. So let me just copy this token again and put it in update authorization. Okay, now if we try to execute it, it worked. Few more thing, let's delete the product 3, and then now we will have only one product, that is 4, with the updated details. Okay, and if I go back in I mean SQLite database, but we don't have multiple entries. So before we can test with the other stuffs like update and delete, we'll also have to update the query for for update and delete. Async, okay, async update. I'm going to copy and paste it. I think I will just need to copy and paste all the steps, so it probably will be similar. So I've copied it, all the stuff in old data. What I can do is I can write await Prisma, uh, so whatever model we are getting here, and then dot find unique, and this. Okay, so here what I can pass where, and in args will get where. So in args we are getting data where whatever the properties we are passing it in this object. So these are all args, and we can extract where from here and pass it inside it, and we can get the old data, and then once after the execution of actual query we'll be getting the new data. All right, now that we have everything here, I don't think we need to do any changes here in this type only. I will do updated, rest of the things will be same. Okay, now I'll create one more method for delete, async delete, and I'm going to copy and paste all the stuffs. Did I do any mistake? So again I will have to find the old product or old item before I do delete. We can get the where from args, and then we can execute the query to get the new data, and then diff, we can get the diff, and here we can add deleted. That's all. I think it should work now. So let me try to update. So right now we are having this only product. So what I can do, I can update this product with something else. Let's say my updated t-shirt, and if I go back in get, we'll see like this is updated, and I also am going to delete it. So the ID is 3, so I'm directly going to delete. So ID is 4, not 3. This one is old response. Now this is deleted, so I should have 2 more entries in database for audit log. If I refresh, I'll get 2 more entries here for updated and for deleted. But I see there's some issue and not sure what happened. For changes, for delete, I don't have any changes. In case of delete, if we keep both data same, then it will not show any changes. So a new data will be empty object. Let's do it again. Let's try to test it again, and I'm going to add one item. So the ID is 5. If I delete ID 5, then we should get one more entry, two more entry. One that we have created a product, and the rest next one is for product delete, and everything will be old value since we don't have anything in new, right? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna quickly create an audit controllers. So nest g resh audit, and it will create resource for us. So I'm going to create it for rest. And would you like to create endpoints? Okay, and we have all these things. I'm going to remove everything from here. For now I just need to see how it looks like. So I need just one endpoint, find all, and in audit service what I can do, I can remove all of them, and here in constructor I can inject private read only Prisma, and it will be Prisma extended service, and okay, this dot prisma dot audit log dot find many. That's all, I guess. And if I run this server again, I should be able to get all the audit logs. Let me check. Okay, why I'm getting error? Audit controller.ts. So we'll have to save this file. Cannot find audit logs. So this is just audit, not audit logs. Okay, now we are getting these details, but here we are getting just what we can say, string value. So what I can do, I will go back in audit service. I'll keep it in one variable logs, and I will await this. Then in logs, all the logs will have changes map log dot changes. Okay, so here log dot changes equal to json dot stringify. Sorry, this is already in string, we need to parse. So log dot changes, this is right, or yeah, and then return log. And if we return this, we should get what we are expecting, everything in past form. Alright, now for the product created, we are saying this, all these are new values. All the properties will have two properties, new value and old value. For product created, since everything is new, so we are getting just new. If I go down a bit, little bit, for product updated, we updated name property, so we are getting both old and new value. And here in delete, everything is old value. So we have achieved what we wanted to build. So that was it from this tutorial. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day.